welcome to another LA Limited presents Team Draft LA season finals. This time we are doing Outlaws of Thunder Junction. We've had 10 teams of 3 that have been culled down to these final 2, so really exciting stuff. I'm Ryan Evans.
My name's Lucas Lee.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Of course,
Lucas.
of course.
You look fantastic.
Thank you so much. You as well. We classed it up today for our stream.
Yeah. Looking real profesh here.
That's right.
I would say. So anyway, I think we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. We had a little bit of a technical delay to get started here, so don't want to delay our players any further. Players ready? 3, 2, 1 draft. Get going.
Ready to crack their first packs. Very exciting. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we are off. So we have to keep our voices down just a little bit here.
We don't interfere with the draft at all, right?
So we are watching Roman Fusco.
Yeah. He's our featured drafter, as they say.
Is not drafting a sheep token, of course. What do you think of this opening pack?
Well, I like that he's pulled Clear Shot to the front there, which is, I mean, it's a removal-heavy format, obviously. Mm-hmm. So Clear Shot is absolutely in the contention, I would say. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's actually one of my favorite non-rare green cards.
Absolutely. And
green, of course, is a great place to be.
The best place to be
in this format in general.
I agree with this pick from our featured drafter here. I saw him looking at that Prairie Dog. Prairie Dog, again, is another card I think that is good, but just like a premium green removal spell is kind of where you want to be in this format. If you don't open a bomb, I feel like that removal is a very solid place.
Yep. It's good in pretty much every conceivable situation, honestly.
Right.
Whether inside combat or outside, it can pretty easily lead to some pretty big 2-for-1 blowouts.
Yeah.
Extremely strong, uncommon.
We were just talking about how there's a few of those sort of like strong bite effects in this format where you're like dealing with it, and obviously Clear Shot being at instant speed is extremely relevant in this format. You know, there's a lot of big green things, so you're never hurting for a target there.
So now he's getting past Magda the Horde Master, which is a pretty strong rare and a sizable threat that really needs to be dealt with pretty
Absolutely.
quickly.
Early drops, not the strongest. Red called out as one of the weaker colors, but I feel like Magda is one of the reasons to be in red.
I think there's definitely some pull there, especially since the only like green cards here are like Giant Beaver or a land, probably.
Yeah, and while I like the Beaver, and I wouldn't fault Roman for maybe staying on color with his first pick, I feel like the power level is much higher on Magda than on something like the Giant Beaver. And with your pack 1 already committing a crime, I feel like that's relevant too.
Okay, so now we've got the Intrepid Stable Master. It's just a nice little 2/2 mana dork. It's got reach tacked on there.
Obviously, it's best in the sort of like Selesnya mounts deck, right? But you know, just making that green mana is nice. There's a good deal of sort of monstrous creatures in this format, so I heartily support this. It looked like he was considering that essence capture, which I feel like would have been a strange pick given his first 2.
I don't think it's strange if you know Roman, though. It's definitely he loves to be a blue controlling sort of player, so that sort of card is definitely up his alley.
Exactly.
It's also just in a format specifically like Team Draft, just having a 2-mana counterspell that will cleanly deal with something like a Bonnie Paul.
Absolutely. I mean,
something to be said there.
He, I feel like he actually did that exact situation to me in our last team draft match, where I was trying to play Bonnie Paul and he countered it with Essence Scatter.
It hurts, right?
It really does feel bad.
And of course, that's the sort of endorphin rush.
Absolutely,
that would lead him to consider third picking one.
Absolutely, yeah. Some
recent
evidence giving him power level on that. Interesting pick here. Pack sort of weak, I would say, but looked like he took that the Horde.
Metamorphic.
Did he pick the Metamorphic pass?
I think so. Yeah.
He was considering the Metamorphic or the Horde. I sort of support either of those choices. Looks like he might be moving towards a sort of like crime-ish thing, which obviously you want to be in sort of like blue, red-ish.
So we've got this town ain't big enough, which is certainly a really nice piece of interaction. Can save a creature from removal, rebuy ETBs. It's actually pretty strong, especially in this format.
I agree. I think that's one of the sort of like reasons to be in blue in this format. Removal being as strong as it is, your opponent plays a removal and you both save your creature and set them back on tempo by bouncing theirs. So I feel like that's a not uncommon game plan. I feel like maybe in other formats that might be like, oh, you're pie in the sky dream for a card like that. But because removal is so strong here, I feel like that card really has had a boosted power level.
Absolutely.
Not getting past much green to go with his pack one, pick one, but does look like white, maybe red and blue are slightly more open in Roman's seat here.
I would just be pretty happy taking a Loan Shark here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. With the Metamorphic Blast, I would totally just slam Loan Shark.
The Rooftop Assassin has proven to be pretty powerful, but considering that we're loading up on blue
right
a fair amount, which, incidentally has also been called one of the weaker colors in the set.
I feel like I got into an argument with someone recently who said that the only good colors were Teamer here in this format, but I disagree. I feel like blue is quite powerful if you build it correctly,
Absolutely.
Those crimes they be criming.
Oh boy, you said something there. We've got a few little junky rares floating around.
Yeah, so this is his wheel pack, right? This is what he opened pack one. Not a lot left in this pack. That Key to the Vault is one of the worst. It's just so slow.
I wouldn't know. I've never seen it in play before.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that it's not a powerful effect, but just like 3 mana to play, 3 mana to equip, and then you have to get in with your creature. It's just... Yeah. And then you could whiff on the free spell. You might not even get anything.
So Wrangler of the Damned is also a very Roman card,
yeah.
I would say.
I would say it's not it's not the most powerful card in the format, but obviously the ceiling is very high if you can build your deck correctly.
Interesting. I guess he wants to take the Quill Charger here, which is...
and wow.
He's the Sharpshooter on the wheel as well.
Now, that is probably the biggest signal I've seen so far that...
he's got...
Red may be open for him.
He's got Trevor passing to him, so Trevor knows that he passed a Magda to Roman, and now he's passing a premium red uncommon as well.
Sharpshooter, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Trevor's going to be absolutely believing Roman's in red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's obviously some strategy involved there.
Wow, that Essence Capture came back. A successful wheel on Roman, looking a lot more like he's going to play it in this deck that he's currently building.
This is kind of what we're saying, we're talking about how red and blue are both weak, and the Is It color pair has been called out as specifically the worst performing archetype on, in online settings at least. But this looks like an excellent start.
He's building the deck,
to an Is It deck
the way it wants to be built, right? I feel like you can kind of get baited if you don't get enough of the I'm building crimes, I'm actually doing stuff. That Mind Raider there, I feel like is a little bit of a trap in the Is It deck. It's not on theme enough.
That's fair, but you do already have Magda, which...
True. Is a payoff for treasures.
Yes, exactly, yeah. So I think I would have gone ahead and snapped one up there.
I may have taken that as well. It's just not...
Rakish Crew is also just something that's... I'm happy with my opponent playing that card.
Yeah,
in general,
exactly.
So.
When I see that card coming down, I don't feel so great. I feel pretty good about my chances. Yeah. Not picking up some great stuff. I'm kind of cold on stop cold, as they say. I would be icy on it a little bit.
I'd say it's sort of a necessary evil.
Yeah.
In a 6-person pod, fewer packs floating around. Yeah. You're not always going to get the amount of premium removal.
You're not going to get the throw from the saddles and
this clear shot is totally splashable as well, though.
Absolutely,
so I think that's going to fill in.
It is a splash format, it's leaving him open a little bit to see what he gets in the next couple of packs here.
Can we tell what tunes he's got on? I know he likes to draft with earbuds in.
Yeah, Roman is as was mentioned last time I played against him, he has a different song that he plays for per pack to help him remember what was in
really?
each pack. You know,
that is
it's
fascinating.
A very interesting strategy, and it's been paying off for him in spades, I would say.
I like
so,
that.
Yeah.
I don't think I had heard that before. But,
Interesting. A powerful uncommon he just took as his sort of like
I think that
12th pick, 11th pick.
Yeah. I think he had the choice between that and the Lackey there.
Yeah.
I think the Caught in the Crossfire makes more sense for the deck.
I think so too. It's that Is It. He picked up the Key to the Vault. That Caught in the Crossfire is a card that I was very excited for when the format first came out, and it's just it's proved to be a little more narrow than I was hoping. But I love an effect that steals things like that. So hopefully we'll get to see some action from it today. If you're Roman, what rares are you hoping to pull in this next pack?
I mean, honestly, just Bonnie Paul. Still.
Yeah, I mean, it's been said the best way to play that Bonnie Paul is just to get 6 mana.
So, Cactarantula was snapped up to the front here.
Absolutely, but I don't think he picked. Did you? I'm blanking. Do you think I can't remember if he picked any deserts in his pack one.
He did not, no.
And the Cactus is not as splashable as card, but
Definitely not.
this is a sort of dangerous pass, especially in a 6-person pod. It's quite strong.
Yeah, I would be, we can still try to play it here.
Yeah.
And we're not hoping not to pass it if we can.
Right.
So he's giving up a little bit of play equity with the explosive derailment maybe, but he considers it important enough to keep the Cactarantulas out of his opponent's hands.
And I actually really like that pick. He's got some green cards already. He's only he's maybe 70% in blue. So there's still a pretty good chance that depending on what he gets past, that he actually could play it. So it's not entirely a hate pick, but it is a little bit of one. And here the Burrow Fiend is quite strong.
And a Miriam as
Miriam
well.
is quite strong, but mostly in the Selesnya deck.
Yeah, not for him at all. He does have the Quild Charger, I guess, but it's hard to put those two in the same deck.
And he has the Intrepid, right? The Stable Master that can make some energy for mounts.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it's one of the signposts.
Yeah.
It's one of the signposts I would say in this set that is most specifically only for that deck, right? Mm-hmm. It's not splashable. It's not just a ton of value no matter what. You really need to have 6-7 mounts.
Absolutely.
But if you do, obviously she's one of the best signposts in this set.
Roman is indeed a big Deep Muck Desperado fan.
Yeah.
So he's just going to go ahead and take it. It's a nice 2/4 body for 3 with, some crime upside. I don't think it's, the mill plan sort of has to have some good support. You can't just rely on one Desperado.
It's kind of tough to make it come together, but he's got a few cheap crimes right now. He's got Magda just making those treasures. My favorite thing for the Deep Mug Desperado is not to count it as a win con, but as an alternate win con, right? You're leaving it on the board and you're counting on your opponent basically not wanting to spend removal on it. It'll shut down a little bit of aggression, and maybe late game it does its thing if you have enough crimes.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. And he does have. He's doing pretty well on the ways to commit crimes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
So he is fairly well set up for it. Would like to, obviously, if we can get past an archive trap.
Yeah,
which is not impossible.
It's not impossible. There's some pretty kooky bonus sheet cards in this format. Now, Slickshot Lockpicker or that Desert. Slickshot Lockpicker is absolutely one of the reasons to be in blue. If he takes that Slickshot Lockpicker and gets past an archive trap, he'll be just about unbeatable. So,
I was about to say that's another key piece to that sort of mill deck puzzle.
Yeah.
That the Is It Desert would just be perfect for him right now as well, but Lockpicker is just too good. I think we just have to hope that the Desert comes back to us here.
That Lockpicker, like I was saying, this is a deck really wants to have most of its cards be synergy cards, right? Actually doing the thing. Ooh, and it looks like, is that a wheel of the explosive derailment?
I don't think so. I think
this is not quite a wheel. Playing the heist, both good. Yeah, but that slick shot lockpicker is one of those sort of like key synergy pieces, I would say.
Absolutely.
It's very flexible. It lets you sort of get anything you need in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need a derailment from your graveyard. You need to plan the heist for more resources. It's just very strong.
Yeah, so I think... he's pulling up this Plan the Heist. Obviously, a 3-for-1 is pretty valuable, but I still think the removal spell is something
I would
that you
take
just
the
can't.
explosive derailment here.
Yeah.
I do like that Plan the Heist quite a bit, especially in a more aggressive deck. But I just feel like that explosive derailment is as on theme for him as it can be, right? He wants crimes, he wants removal spells, he wants to sort of get in a little bit, and I just think that explosive derailment, and it seems like he agrees with us.
Hopefully the table knows better than to let him wheel that Plan the Heist.
Yeah, that would be
that has his name
probably
written
a
all over it.
mistake for sure. Yeah. Savage Smash, an interesting one for sure.
This is another Is It Desert.
Yeah,
as well.
wow. Definitely Roman's seat seems to be very open in these Is It's. Paying attention to signals and shifting out of green early was, I think, paying off for him. We're seeing a pack that has, I don't know, 2 at least playable blue cards and a couple of good red cards as well. Interesting. The Savage Smash over the desert here.
That is interesting, but I wouldn't, obviously I wouldn't say incorrect. And he does, he does wheel the
the
first
second
derailment,
derailment.
or the first one he saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a discussion that I had with my team throughout the season about potentially exploiting people's feelings about the Is It deck, because there are some pretty solid Is It rares, such as Malcolm the Eyes or Breaches, that literally no one else at the table will ever touch.
Take. Absolutely. And Breaches is an incredibly powerful effect if you have the artifacts to support it, and there's a pretty good chance that it wheels, right? It's just it's 3 mana 3/3 with Menace, I think, right?
Absolutely.
So like it's just good.
It's just good. With some, with a sort of game-winning.
Yeah, with a sort of game-winning ceiling,
text
right?
box on it.
Exactly. Taking a sort of like mid-crime removal spell with Trick Shot, but
I appreciate his restraint there and not taking the $10 bonus sheet rare.
Well, it's finals. You gotta.
He's in it to win.
He's in it to win, right? Yeah, I 100% agree that sometimes people just they don't believe in this deck that Roman is currently building, and I get the feeling that Roman's going to be playing it extremely well here, and I think that the something that colors people's opinions on these is the prevalency for decks to do well in Arena or not well on Arena.
Yeah, exactly.
But Paper is a very different format, right? You're not playing against the same people you are drafting with on Arena, so there is that chance for the mirror more often, and I feel like this Is It deck is pretty good in tempo in Paper, right?
Absolutely.
Especially if you're not seeing as big of creatures going around, right? Cactarantulas, the 7/7 armadillos, those can really shut down a deck like this. But especially in a 6-person pod, and especially in Paper while you're playing against the people you're drafting with, I feel like this deck can really come together.
Absolutely. And one of the bigger strengths of Is It is its ability to keep the cards flowing and just have continuous actions turn after turn.
Resources,
Interact with my opponent, draw a card. Interact with my opponent, draw a card.
Yeah.
Get in for a little bit of damage, draw a card. That
play my removal spell, play Slick Shot Rockpicker, play a removal spell again. It's quite a fun gameplay style. Noted, I think I've been Is It at almost every pre-release that I've ever gone to.
Oh,
so,
wait, in this set or just in general?
In this set, in general,
okay.
Yeah. Actually 3-0'd with my pre-release in a just like a solid Is It ionized deck. This pre-release. So
for MH3?
For MH, no, for Thunder Junction.
Oh, okay.
It can really get there, I think.
Oh, wait, is Ionize on the
Ionize is one of the
Okay.
bonus sheet cards, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it come up.
Indomitable Creativity.
I don't think
it's not a very strong red rare.
I don't think we're
I
taking
wouldn't
it.
take that. I wouldn't take that.
Make your own luck.
That
Seems like
Sandstorm
the
Salvager
Sandstorm
is
Salvager.
quite powerful, I would say.
That's
Riku is not as strong. Rambling Possum, okay.
Salvager can just win games almost on its own.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen multiple times.
It absolutely can. Now, I don't know how many other tokens he's making for that Salvager's ability, but it makes
You honestly don't need
it makes
much.
just the one itself,
Yeah.
so you really don't need that much. And that's probably what he's looking at right now. He's making the Magda tokens, so I mean, he's already got at least one other source of tokens. Now, with such a powerful green card that it's likely he's going to take, do you think Roman makes the decision to try and switch it a little bit more heavily into green here?
I would still say that that card is also splashable.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't feel committed to being base green by any means.
Right. Well, he's getting past some more powerful green stuff here. The Smuggler's Surprise is a rare that I think is a little bit of a trap sometimes. It's a powerful effect, but it's quite expensive.
And it's certainly not for where we're at.
I agree.
At the moment.
That Aloe Alchemist, however, is very strong. Not necessarily in the deck that Roman is currently building, but I like that it can sneakily commit a crime if you really need one.
Yeah, I think it needs to be mostly used in a more creature-focused strategy,
Right.
though, which we are certainly not.
We're not, yeah.
It's tough to, I think Honest Rutstein's probably the best card in this pack. It's tough to
by a
want to
lot,
pass it,
I think, but Roman, I think, would have to be considering, if he's not going to be in green as a main color, that would be a double splash, right? 2 pips, black and green.
Ooh.
What did he take?
He took the Aloe Alchemist.
He did take the Aloe Alchemist, so it looks like he may be attempting some sort of green.
To get back into green here.
That Marquesa is quite strong.
It is, again, a different color splash, though, than what he was originally
it would be a black
considering.
splash, and, he is going to take it.
But
so he's got some options
does-
for deck building for sure.
It does fit well into what he's doing, though. Ooh, that's like a
Wow.
4th pick Archangel there.
Interesting. I don't love that Archangel of Tithes. It is good at shutting down aggression, and I feel like in another format it might be an A-level bomb, like an MKM, where everyone was attacking every turn no matter what. I
Yep.
feel like it would have been a different
can
story.
you imagine?
I
Oh, my
know.
gosh, yeah. Looks like he's just considering the desert here.
Yeah, I heavily support the desert. I think there's no pick other than the desert here.
Interesting.
Deep Mech Desperado is fine. This town ain't big enough, but he already has green spells that he wants to splash. Depending on how many of them, he's going to need some fixing. He cares about crimes. I really do. I mean, obviously, I like that this town ain't big enough, but he has one of them already, and they are slightly worse in multiples.
Yeah. And I think he's doing just fine on playables
exactly,
at the
yeah.
moment. So, yeah. Very disciplined passing up
Very
on
disciplined.
the Archangel, though. Considered by
Oh,
many
wow.
to be, a hate draftable bomb.
I hate draftable bomb, absolutely. And it was passed to him as well, so one must wonder
So-
what was passed.
I think whoever's in white is going to get paid off here.
Yeah, I think so too. This third pack has been very white focused, I would say. Interesting. Lots of removal I've been seeing. Not a lot of throw from the saddles, though. It is one of the best removal spells in the format. But
Not too surprising that those would get picked up pretty early, so we wouldn't necessarily see them.
oh, so
Interesting
a
betrayal.
betrayal at the vault is a very interesting pickup. So it does look like he may be either switching into a sort of like blue-red package, blue-green package, or a red-green package.
I think he might just be straight up
3
teamer
colors at this point.
point.
Yeah, I mean, that Make Your Own Luck is very strong, but I would take the
He's-
Sharpshooter over this Make Your Own Luck here.
I've seen him do sillier things with worse mana bases, so
Oh,
wouldn't put it
I
past
think
him.
his deck is quite strong. He keeps
Yeah.
taking the best cards in the pack,
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
basically,
and lots of strong teamer cards that just no one really seems to be interested in. So. I think I would have been on the Snakeskin Veil.
Interesting,
Before
yeah.
the Betrayal at the Vault in the previous pack, though.
I agree. I think that Snakeskin Veil is maybe one of the best commons in the format. I know people have talked about that and the Take of the Shield in white as great tricks. But that Snakeskin Veil That hexproof is so powerful as like an anti-removal spell.
Yeah, especially since his creature count is pretty low.
He wants to be able to protect them.
The ones that he has, like Magda, he wants to be able to protect.
That's an excellent point.
So Snakeskin Veil sort of doubles as, it adds to his creature count in a way. So I think I would have considered that, especially since he's already got lots of good interaction.
And, Betrayal is quite strong, but what's the biggest creature that he currently has, Is it a dragon?
He might have one of the pulverizers or something.
And yes, the Betrayal can be a 2-for-1, but it's also very often, if you don't have the creatures, it doesn't give the pump like Clear Shot does.
Yeah.
So I think that it sometimes is a tough one.
It's lots of mana. It's very situational, and it's very committal.
I think it's a strong card, but it's one of those cards that is only good in the exact right deck. And I'm not sure that Roman is in that deck, but we'll see. We'll see. He is in the finals, and we are not.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're coming to the end of the draft here.
Yeah, last couple of picks.
Wrap up the last few.
So an interesting pick here, another creature or another crime. Which would you pick?
Probably the Take the Fall.
I think so too. I like that Take the Fall. I like that it cycles if you don't need the downside effect. I mean, not downside, the reduce pump, the opposite reverse pump. It reminds me a little bit of Birthday Escape from...
Deflate, I guess?
Oh, yeah, Deflate. Oh, that's good. I like that. It's the opposite of a pump. It's a deflate effect. Thank you. It reminds me of Birthday Escape from Lord of the Rings, right? Just
so
a
good.
one-mana cycle. It's relevant in a lot of the different archetypes. And
what's the new one in MH3 as well? Attune
the
narrative?
Tune the narrative, yeah. Definitely a standout card in that format. Yeah.
Steve and Ranger Elm, thanks for joining us. Glad we were able to put this on for you guys.
Forgot to check the chat. If you have any questions, shout out in the chat.
We are coming to the end of pack 3 here.
Nothing in that pack for him. Oh, maybe the Djinn, actually, but I might just hate pick the Hindering Light. It's not so super strong, but it can be a pretty big blowout.
I'm a believer. I think Hindering Light is sort of like Snakeskin Veil at home, but that's still not a bad thing because Snakeskin Veil is so good,
the Hindering Light is quite powerful, but it's a little narrow, and I actually think that I know we were talking about how maybe Izzet is the worst. I think that the Azorius game plan just really did not get there in this deck.
Yep.
And taking away a Hindering Light from someone who might be in that game plan is always a good thing. But
I think just taking away counter spells from your opponents in general is not the worst idea as well.
Yeah. I was at just a F&M the other day, and I was playing this format, and I back from ward something, and my opponent attempted to Hindering Light it, and they unfortunately learned that since back for more is a reflexive ability, it can't target the spell.
Okay.
And they felt very bad. Oops. I know, it's a big oops.
All right, so that's going to do it. We're going to break off here for some deck building. An Oko Thief of Crowns was opened.
Oh, wow. In our team here, in these three? Wow.
It is in Ben's pool.
One of maybe the most powerful cards ever printed in Magic, making an appearance today.
Legacy and Vintage playable card has made its way into our team draft finals, so that's definitely going to warp the meta a little bit.
Looks like we have...
we've got Jesse on the top right there. Yeah. And Ben on the top left. Roman on the bottom left. He was our feature drafter there.
Looks like Roman is building the... sort of like Izzet package with a green splash, looks like, based on the cards there.
I think he looks more green base.
More green base, actually, as the Cactarantula, the Savage Smash. Trying to see if there's any other power on the other side of the board apart from the sort of Oko package, which I can see him flashing the camera right now, bragging.
Pretty proud of that one,
So it looks like maybe we have a blue, black, green over in the top left for Ben, and Golgari. Is that what? I see a Cactarantula. Is this a Cactarantula? It's a little blurry for us. Cactarantula there,
at the top in there.
Avarice, Snakeskin Veil. So
looks like mostly black.
Yeah, mostly
splashing some like a Lawbringer.
Yeah.
A Snakeskin Veil, Cactarantula. Looks pretty solid to me.
Yeah, very solid.
He's got at least
double
two
Mourner's
Surprise.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice. But I do want to give a shout out once again to our finals home game realms here. We've got a really nice crowd gathered here for our OTJ season finals, and I can see it looks like Lucas is stands out in the crowd a little bit. He's taking some notes on the Chump blockers.
He's the short guy behind Angelo. You can barely see him with Angelo blocking the way there.
In sort of the drab clothes. Big shout outs to Game Realms. Thank you once again for hosting us. And our reporter in the field has returned. What have you got for us?
I came back. I took some notes. So it looks like we were right. A lot of them are in that sort of like white package. We have one like full Selesnya drafter, just like hard Selesnya. Not a lot of rares in the deck, but a collector's cage, which is quite nice.
That's a really good
and
one.
a good amount of mounts. I think they have 2 Lassoed by the Laws, which is a mythic uncommon removal spell.
Excellent,
very good. Notably deals with Oko, so that might be a strong matchup for him.
Yep.
We also have Matt is in the just like Azorius package. We did see a lot of those signpost uncommons going around. So he's got 2 gems, 2 Wrangler by the Dams, Getaway, Glamour, Repulse. Like he's doing all of the like strong instant things that are happening.
It seems like what we were saying about the Izzet deck is equally true about the Azorius deck, and it looks like he was just getting hooked up on those pretty late in the pack.
Absolutely, and it makes sense because our feature drafter was passing them, and sounds like everyone was, and he was just picking them up on the wheels, picking them up. Right, like we said, that Wrangler, in multiples. If you got 2 of them out, it's a stable. You're stable, right? Yep. You just pass the draw pass. So definitely an interesting play out. So we did see someone over there is playing the Archangel as well.
Makes sense.
And a Bruce Tarl splash. So that's a very powerful rare for them as well. Yeah. Draws you some cards, makes you some Ox. Quite an interesting format, I'd say. A pretty well balanced decks. I don't think that there's like a clear front runner apart from the Oko being present.
Yeah, of course. I would say it sounds like we've got sort of the more aggressive builds on the Chump blocker side against the more slow control-y builds.
Yes, exactly.
Excuse me.
Against
From
the
High Noon Goons on Roman's team.
Yeah.